Hi all, it's Ahmed here from Recruitable University, and on today's recruitment program, we are going through the different types of sales techniques. We went through building rapport and trust, understanding your products, understanding your client and your candidate. So you were ensuring you were asking all the right questions in order to understand your client and your candidates. Now we'll be going through perfecting your sales pitch in order to have the best possible pitch and the best possible delivery to get the sales that you are trying to get. So perfecting your pitch. Firstly, when it comes to a sales pitch, always ask, hey, Ahmed here. I hope you're finding value in this video. If you need any free advice or help with your recruitment agency, or you're thinking of starting your own agency but have some questions, feel free to join our weekly Q&A. You may have seen some clips from it on my page. I'll post a link in my Telegram community, which is completely free to join. I don't even need your email or phone number, and I'll personally be there to answer any of your questions. The link is down below for those of you who are interested. Now let's get back to the video. Open questions. And what do I mean by open question? Is don't ask questions where the outcome will be a yes or a no. For example, typical mistake that people make, and why we want to ask open questions is because we want the conversation to be engaging. We want to continue that call with our potential candidates who we are trying to place for work, or even with clients. So you can, as I said before, you can apply all of this module to both your clients and your candidates. So asking open questions. So if you're speaking to a candidate and you're trying to get their availability for work in order to find them work, what you don't want to say is, hi, my name is Ahmed. I'm calling from ABC Recruitment. Are you available for work? The only answer you're going to get is either a yes, I'm available, or no, I'm not available. And if they are not available, that conversation has kind of died there because they've just given you a no, and you're ended the call pretty much. So what you want to do is ask open questions for your candidate to continue engaging with you, and for you then to continue engaging with them. So how would I ask that same question, which was, are you available for work, in a way that it's an open question? Now I would say, hi, my name is Ahmed. I'm calling from ABC Recruitment. I was just giving you a call regarding work. I was just wondering, what is your work availability? So now you're saying, I was wondering, what is your work availability, rather than saying, are you available for work? Once you do ask that question, I was wondering, what is your work availability? You're not going to get a yes or a no. You're going to get a, I'm currently not available, and then you get to potentially continue that call, or yes, I'm actually available every whatever Mondays and Thursdays. So these are just ways of making sure that call just sort of continues, and you want your candidate to do most of the talking. Another open question or a closed question that people ask all the time is, if the candidate is potentially not available, okay, do you have any friends or colleagues who would be interested in work? No, I don't have any friends or colleagues. Or yes, I do have friends or colleagues. So you're going to get a yes or a no. So how can you ask that same question now, whether they have friends or colleagues? So what I would say is, I could perfectly, I know you're not available at the moment. Who do you know that may be available? Who do you know? Um, so now you've asked that question. So there's a little bit of an assumption you've got to make, is never assume that they don't know anyone. Never assume that they are not available. Never assume. So I'm going to ask an open question, which is, who do you know who's available? And so now it gives them the opportunity to respond back to me. Oh, I don't actually have any friends or colleagues, or oh, I potentially have a colleague who will be available. So ask open question to your clients. Ask open question to your candidates. Now, these are just examples of how to turn those potential closed questions into open questions. So always try your best when it comes to sales, when it comes to your pitch, when you're delivering your sales call. Don't ask closed questions. What that will just do is it will end the conversation a lot earlier. And what you want to do is try to build that rapport and have the conversation flowing. And another thing is, do your homework. What I mean, do your homework is prepare yourself before the call. And this is where a lot of recruiters go wrong. What they do is they pick up the call, and as they're on the call, the candidate will say to them, okay, yeah, this sounds fantastic. Do you know what they're paying? Not too sure actually. Just give me 1 second, and they're ramming through, sort of scamming through their emails and trying to find the client. So make sure you are prepared, and you know what they say: if you fail to prepare than you prepare to fail. And this is so true in recruitment. Prepare every single call before you get on that call. Get your candidate's postcode, get your client's postcode, know the destination, the distance between your candidate and your client. So when you're on that call, the candidate may say to you, I potentially may be interested. Do you know how far it is for me? Yeah, give me a second. Let me look for it. And you sound incompetent. What you want to do is, yeah, the hospital's literally 15 minutes from you. I'm just looking at it on Google Maps as we speak. You sound competent. You've done your homework. You know the distance between your client and your candidate. Again, you can apply this to your client as well. How can we apply this to the client? Know your homework, know about your candidate, as we previously mentioned in the previous slides. Know your candidates, know what they can and can't do. It's very, very important. So when you're speaking to your client, if your client says to you, okay, perfect, this nurse sounds fantastic. Can she do baby immunizations? I'm not too sure. Give me 1 second. Let me go through her CV. Honestly, you don't sound competent. You need to be like, yeah, I've got it right in front of me. I can see here she can do baby immunization. As a matter of fact, she can do all the duties that you require. So you sound a lot more competent. So do your homework, prepare in advance. It may take you a little bit longer to go through your emails to have everything ready, but you want to do that. You want to sound competent. You want to sound that you are able to deliver. Understand your client and your candidate's pain points. So what do I mean by this? Understand your client and candidate's pain points. And we'll go through the potential objections that you may get from your clients and your candidates. It's understand, and a lot of the clients' pain points sometimes will be how long it's been taking them to find the candidates. Why is it taking you that long? Are you in a geographical location which is slightly remote? Are you is it that you're is it that the package or the salary that you're offering is not really competitive? Try to understand why is it that they can't find the right candidate, or understanding your candidates also, and why are they not able to find the right opportunities that is for them. So understand them, see what they are looking for, try to get a good picture of what they want, what is their ideal. And I say to them, to understand the pain point, I say, what would be your ideal scenario if you could have your dream job? What would it be? And then write it all out for them. Write it all out. Key point, the bullet point, the key points that they mention. What would be the ideal job? Again, you can say this also to your client. What would be the ideal candidate? If I can find you the right candidate, what would be the ideal candidate for you? And write down the key points of the ideal candidate. In that way, you can understand what their pain points are and try to find them the right person for the position. Be confident in your delivery. It's so important when it comes to perfecting your pitch on or your sales call. Be confident in your delivery. If you are not confident on the phone, if you come across awkward, if you come across like you don't really know what you're talking about, some clients will just rip you apart and say to you, listen, you don't really sound like you've got a clue on what you're talking about. Be confident, know your product, understand your product, do your homework. That way you can confidently deliver to your clients. So if we go through Chat AI now and go through potential, so we're going to write a list of questions a potential company may ask me as a recruitment company regarding negative experiences when it comes to hiring candidates and how we are different. So a lot of clients will probably have used recruitment agencies in the past, so you may not be the first one, and they may have had bad negative experiences. So what are the type of questions that they may ask you, and how are you different? A question that may ask you is, how can you handle situations where, so let's just go back to the top. They may ask you, can you describe how you handle situation where a candidate does not meet the expectation after being hired? And this can sometimes be common, where the candidate is hired by the client, and after a certain period of time, they just don't seem to be the right fit for the job. So what is it that you would do, or what is it that you can do? So for example, this happens in recruitment a lot of the times, and not every single placement that you make is going to be fantastic, or not every single placement that you make is going to be the right fit for the practice. So how can you ensure your client that that this person will be suitable, and if they're not suitable, how do you handle these sorts of situations? What I say to them is, and if you deem that the candidate is not suitable, we will ensure that we'll find you a like for like replacement. So we give them another option where if this candidate wasn't suitable, we give them another option where they can have the like for like candidate who has the same skill set and same competencies that they were looking for. This is one option. And another option is it giving them the assurance of a rebate period where if the candidate doesn't work out, because I'm sure they're going to be spending some sort of money for you delivering a candidate to them. Let's just say on a permanent placement, it will be a finder's fee. Just reassuring them that if it does not work out, you are entitled to a portion of your finder's fee that you've paid back to you. So that gives them reassurance that, okay, if it doesn't work out, they have some sort of a refund policy that is in place. Another typical question that a candidate may ask is, and how can you verify the authenticity of your candidate's qualification and your experiences? So let them know that you as a company that you're competent, and this you want to come across very competent as an agency, because you want to build that trust with your clients, that you do all the necessary background checks. So if you are hiring, for example, a doctor, that you've done the background checks, you've checked their PIN, it's actually on the registration, and they are legally allowed to practice in the country. And what I mean by this, for example, if you're working with a nurse, you just type in search the NMC register, and this will just bring up, this is a PIN. So every nurse will have a PIN. You just type in her PIN number. You will ask her or him, and what is your NMC PIN registration? They will give this to you, of course, because this is a key important factor that you've got to verify before placing them into work. And then you ask for their first name, their surname, and once you click, it will let you know how long they've been a nurse, how long they've been practicing. So now you sound very competent when you say to your client, and this could be a pain point that they have all the time, is agencies are just sending through the door and people without doing all the necessary checks. So when it comes to the question that they say to you, what measures do you take to verify the authenticity of your candidate's qualifications and their experience, is that you say we do all the background checks, we ensure that they are who they say they are. And you can also say is we ask our candidates and to email us a copy of their passport, their driver license, all their right to work, and we verify they are who they say they are. So this is just to mitigate any risk, and also to build that trust with your clients. And I hope you enjoyed this lesson and you've benefited, and I will see you on the next one.